On an ordinary Wednesday night, over Thai leftovers, my world shifted. Sophia, my girlfriend of 5 years, dropped a bombshell. She needed a break to find herself. What followed was a whirlwind of betrayal, whispered rumors, and a choice that would redefine my life. This is the story of how I let go and discovered the strength in standing firm. Welcome to Addy Story, where we share real-life stories that touch the heart and inspire the soul. Subscribe now to join our community, relax, and dive into the stories we have for you. Enjoy. My girlfriend left to discover herself, slept with others, then returned pleading. I refused, and her shock mirrored the unraveling of my 5-year relationship with Sophia on that ordinary Wednesday night. It was just us, some leftovers from our favorite Thai place when she dropped the bomb. I think we need a break. I'm not one to lose my cool easily. I've crafted my existence with unwavering resolve. I own my home, have a strong career in IT, and embrace simplicity. Her little announcement caught me off guard, just for a heartbeat. In that moment, everything fell into place. Sophia craved distance. Fine, I decided, let her take it all. Not under my roof, she wouldn't. I remained composed, despite everything. I set my fork aside, locked eyes with her, and declared, "If you need a break, take it. But this is my house, so you'll need to pack your things and decide where to go." Her gaze was a mix of disbelief and shock, as if I had just proposed the impossible. "Are you kidding me?" she inquired. "Absolutely," I responded. "What does she think? That I'll wait while she searches for herself? If they can't decide about you, why should you linger in uncertainty?" I refused to be anyone's fallback. Surprisingly, she held her tongue. Perhaps she expected me to plead for her to remain or demand answers, but I refused to grovel for anyone's presence in my life, not even Sophia's. As the night fell, she hurriedly packed a suitcase and dialed her sister, urgency lacing her voice for a swift escape. She lingered at the door, her eyes searching for words, but I simply opened it wide, inviting her in. If someone chooses to go, you must let them. You don't cling. You release them, setting them free. In the stillness of the house, I sat alone in the living room, eyes fixed on the half-eaten pad thai on the coffee table. It wasn't a grand emotional climax. It felt more like a simple shrug. I felt no heartbreak or devastation, only annoyance. I crafted a life for Sophia, filled with chances for joy. Yet instead of confiding in me, she chose the path of least resistance, a break. The next day, I gathered the remnants of her presence, toiletries, her beloved hoodies that she claimed as her own, and the worn pages of Pride and Prejudice. I packed it all away, sealing my secrets in the dark of the hallway closet. If she wanted her things, she could just ask. I had no intention of pursuing her with a care package. At first, life without Sophia felt eerily the same. I rose at 6 a.m., hit the gym, and poured my days into client projects. The house fell silent, a stillness that felt heavy yet oddly comforting. Time stretched, a rare chance to delve deep within. I cared for Sophia, but I refused to let her absence shatter my world. What shocked me was how effortlessly she turned her back and left. As I replayed the last few months, a haunting question lingered. Had I overlooked the signs of her unhappiness? Did I miss the signs of her distancing herself? I never believed that. Our relationship had its flaws, yet it still breathed with life. Our arguments were rare, fleeting moments sparked by trivialities. Dinner choices, a forgotten toothpaste cap, just the usual couple's squabbles. Sophia had never confessed to feeling trapped. She left no signs that she was ready to pull away. Her decision was final, and that was what stung the deepest. Partnerships are the essence of relationships. You can't simply choose to hit pause on everything. Words collide, clarity emerges. Yet, she denied me that opportunity. She chose her path, leaving me to wait in silence, fingers restless, heart heavy. No, thank you. In the days that followed, whispers from friends and family reached me, each one heavy with the weight of what had transpired. It was my sister who reached out first. She's gone. Is it really that simple? Her voice trembled with disbelief, a stark contrast to my calm. I shared the brief tale, and she swiftly assured me I had chosen wisely by not pleading with Sophia to remain. Don't let her trample your spirit, she warned. If she can't see her worth, that's her loss. Then there was Ethan, my closest ally, and the one who always understood me. He stopped by the house a few nights later, concern etched on his face. He rarely offered encouragement, yet he made it clear. You narrowly escaped, my friend. If she's wavering now, just think of her in a true emergency. It lingered in my mind. If Sophia struggled with the daily trials of love, how would she face the storm when life turned brutal? What if we had tied the knot? What if children were caught in the middle? Discovering the truth now was a relief, sparing them from deeper entanglements. By the week's end, I found a fragile peace with it all. Sophia could take her break if she truly desired it. I refused to pursue her or squander my thoughts on her actions. People who claim they need space often aren't searching for themselves. They're just testing if the grass is greener elsewhere. They believe they can return when they're finished searching. They're gravely mistaken. I realized I was worth more, and I refused to accept anything less from someone who couldn't recognize it. I pressed on, certain I'd chosen wisely, and it felt exhilarating. Whispers spread like wildfire, igniting curiosity and concern. When someone leaves, especially in a tight community with shared friends, the whispers ripple quickly. I never broadcast my struggles, but Sophia, she didn't hold back. Now she's gone, and the silence speaks volumes. Initially, it was merely trivial details. A week after Sophia's departure, Liam reached out. Hey man, hope you're holding up. Last night, I encountered Sophia at the pier in Santa Monica. She felt transformed. Transformed. What did that even mean? I held back my response, overwhelmed by the weight of unspoken nuances. I didn't press Liam for more details either. Allow her to stand apart. She was no longer my burden, yet days later, Emma's call shattered the silence. I don't know if I should say this, she began, a line that always signals the kind of news you dread. I spotted Sophia with a guy at the tavern in Pasadena last night, and they seemed intimate, you know? Warmth envelops you. The word lingered, not out of concern for her actions, but because it validated a suspicion I had long held. This break wasn't about finding herself, as she pretended. It was about exploring new horizons, and she was diving in head first. I thanked Emma, expressed my gratitude for the warning, and ended the call. I thought I was calm, but deep down, something stirred. I felt more insulted than jealous. 5 years together, and the moment she walks away, she's at a bar with someone else. It wasn't about wanting her back. It was about the fundamental need for respect. The whispers continued, haunting and relentless. In the following week, more voices erupted with their unwelcome updates. Margaret, my neighbor, spotted me as I mowed the lawn. "Hey, Daniel," she whispered, leaning over the fence, eyes sparkling with secrets waiting to spill. "Yesterday morning, I spotted Sophia jogging with a new guy in Griffith Park. Who is he?" I hadn't seen him before. I shrugged. "Probably doesn't matter to me." Margaret's gaze pierced through me, a silent question hanging in the air. Was I truly unbothered, or merely acting the part? Yet that was the truth. It changed nothing. If Sophia chose to run with strangers or explore her options, that was her decision. I had more pressing concerns, like taming my unruly lawn and navigating my own existence. It was ironic. I wasn't seeking the truth about Sophia, yet whispers of her life found me relentlessly. When you're told to forget, it consumes your mind entirely. These updates arrived uninvited, yet they overwhelmed me all the same. The clearest indication, however, emerged from Sophia herself, or more precisely, her social media. I wasn't stalking her, just to be clear. But one night, I opened Instagram, and there it was, her profile suddenly in my feed. The algorithm knows me too well, revealing what it believes I crave. And now, it's Sophia's stories flooding my feed. She laughed, a ghost in someone else's moment, across from a stranger I couldn't place. He wore a fitted shirt and perfect stubble, the kind of guy who seemed more focused on capturing moments than living them. We found ourselves at a trendy restaurant in downtown Austin, the kind Sophia always dreamed of visiting, but never took the time to arrange. Her smile, carefree and radiant, sent a shiver through me. I wasn't hurt. Not really. But the disappointment cut deeper than I anticipated. After all these years, I expected her to pause, to reflect, to honor what we once shared. Instead, she was out there, living as if she'd never known love's embrace. I felt utterly invisible. I shut down Instagram, and her profile vanished from my sight forever. I had no need to intervene. Whatever she was up to, she could carry on. I refused to be just another spectator in her show. What truly bothered me was her portrayal of the situation to others. One evening, Olivia, a mutual friend, called me. Sophia mentioned you two were on a break, her tone dripping with doubt. But she made it seem like it was a ridiculous idea. I've got a thought. It brought a smile to my face. Olivia, whatever she said, know this. It was Sophia who wanted the break, not me. I told her she had to leave while she sorted things out. She craved distance, so I stepped back. Olivia exhaled deeply. That's not the story she's telling. She's behaving as if you forced her away. I expected that. Sophia had a knack for turning every situation to paint herself as the victim. I refused to expend my energy on rewriting her story. If they chose to believe her story, so be it. The ones who truly mattered understood the reality, and that was all that counted for me. What's truly ironic about all this? With each tale of Sophia's adventures, my resolve to release her only grew stronger. She was a stranger in familiar skin, or perhaps I had simply failed to see her true self. I felt nothing was truly gone. I felt a rush of relief, escaping a looming storm. Each time I heard about another guy she was seen with, I simply nodded and carried on. It turned into our little secret, a shared laugh that lingered between us. She's devouring them one after another, he remarked one night. I laughed, the truth biting close to the bone. Sophia chased fleeting moments, seeking to fill the emptiness with the hollow gaze of strangers. It was no longer my burden to bear. As the second week drew to a close, the whispers began to fade away. Perhaps they grew weary of updating me, or maybe Sophia's antics lost their spark. In that moment, Relief washed over me. I had no time for her story. I was consumed by my own. When a person reveals their true self, trust it without hesitation. Sophia revealed her true feelings. She never cared about us. She craved the unknown, and I wouldn't hold her back. But I wouldn't linger in her shadow either. I had my home, my existence, my pride, far more valuable than a bond with someone lost in uncertainty. 3 weeks after Sophia vanished, her unexpected text pierced through the silence. Only 4 words. "Can we meet?" No greetings, no pleasantries, just the truth laid bare. I couldn't help but laugh when I saw it. Is this really it? What now? She wanted to speak. I hesitated to dive into the chaos of her thoughts, yet I couldn't walk away from the unresolved tension between us. I asked, when and where? She mentioned the park, our old refuge in Zilker Park, where we'd lose ourselves for hours, escaping the chaos of life. I agreed, eager to witness the next excuse she would conjure up. A part of me sensed it wouldn't be an apology, but a feeble excuse to defend herself. I arrived 10 minutes early, not out of eagerness, but to deny her the satisfaction of feeling superior by being first. I clutched my coffee, settling onto a bench by the fountain, each sip heavy with anticipation. Upon her arrival, 2 things struck me immediately. She appeared lost in thought, hair pulled back, bare-faced, wrapped in that oversized sweater she clung to when guilt weighed heavy on her. She seemed smaller now, not in size, but in a way that revealed her waning confidence since she left my house 3 weeks ago. Her eyes locked onto mine, a hesitant wave. Then she approached, heart racing. I remained seated, leaning back, a silent nod my only response. If she wished to speak, the effort was hers to make. I refused to let her have it, without a fight. "Thanks for meeting me," she began, taking a seat. I stayed silent, eyebrow arched, anticipating her next words. Let her feel the heat. She earned it. She poured out her heart, revealing the depths of her confusion and the weight of her lost feelings that led to the break. She twisted it, claiming she was helping me by leaving to find herself. "I didn't want to burden you while I wrestled with my emotions," she murmured, eyes averted. It brought a smile to my face. "Pull me under?" I wasn't the one who needed fixing. My life was steady. She was lost, searching for her desires. She had somehow convinced herself that leaving was an act of selflessness. I just needed time, she said, to find out if I could truly be my best self for us. For a dose? Had she really been searching her soul for nothing at all? I barely contained my frustration. When she finally fell silent, I asked, my voice steady, "How did that time turn out for you?" It shattered her composure. Her eyes widened in surprise, caught off guard by my directness. "It's been eye-opening," she murmured, uncertainty lacing her voice. I saw it clearly. I was overlooking you, failing to cherish all that you add to us. I remained silent, my nod urging her to go on. I refused to pull her from this abyss. "And, she added, her voice barely a whisper, "I made some mistakes during the break. Errors that haunt." That was the word she picked. Not choices or decisions, but blunders, as if everything unfolded by chance. "I know about your mistakes," I said, my voice steady, masking the storm within. "Whispers surround you, Sophia. I'm aware of the bar, the restaurant, the jogging partner." Her cheeks flushed, words tangled in her throat. I never intended for it to unfold this way. I wondered if I was overlooking something crucial. I couldn't believe it. You had everything you needed. You had it all, yet you cast it aside, chasing the illusion of something greater. The choice is yours. Her eyes shimmered with unshed tears, yet I felt nothing. I refused to offer her solace. She made the choice to leave, and now she faced the fallout. I see it clearly now, she whispered, her voice trembling. Let's find a way to make this right. I longed to return home. It stood before me, the moment of truth. She longed to return, but not out of newfound appreciation for me. The fantasy she pursued shattered, leaving only disappointment in its wake. Perhaps the men in her life never valued her like I did. Perhaps they lacked the patience and stability needed. It was irrelevant, lost in the chaos. She returned not out of love for me. She asked, knowing I was her only chance. No, I said, leaning back in my chair. Her eyes widened, surprise etched on her face. No, that's correct, I stated. You craved escape, and it arrived. You can't just re-enter my life because your plans fell apart. She fought for her words, desperation in her eyes, but I remained unmoved. I rose. Sophia, please take care of yourself, I urged as I stepped away. I forged ahead, leaving the past behind. I turned away, not daring to look back, leaving her behind in silence. To me, it was over. Her choices were made, and now the weight of them pressed down hard. I've learned this. Never let anyone make you feel like a choice. If they can't see your value, don't waste your time hoping they'll understand. You forge ahead, leaving the past behind. That was my plan all along. After that park meeting with Sophia, I felt a surge of relief wash over me. It was more than rejection. It was a fight for my own value. I never knew the weight I bore since she first uttered those words. A break. But now, I was finished. Certainty reigns. Doubts vanish. As soon as I stepped inside, I dove into the chaos of the hallway closet. That box filled with her memories? Everything was packed tightly in the trunk of my car. I raced to her sister's house, leaving it on the porch in silence. No words, only silence. She would face it when she was ready. I couldn't let her stay in my space a moment more. In the days that followed, I began to find my new rhythm. The absence of Sophia shifted the atmosphere of my house, yet it brought an unexpected sense of relief. It was still, yes, but also profoundly serene. Her silent jabs about the dish and the sink and the relentless advice on home improvements no longer haunted me. The house was mine once more, and I was determined to reclaim its essence. I shifted the furniture in the living room, discarded the throw pillows she had chosen, and replaced the shower curtain. Minor shifts, yet they transformed everything. Each small change was a powerful stride toward taking back what was mine. One night, Ethan arrived, and everything changed. He stepped inside, memories flooding back. Wow, it feels so much better in here now, he breathed, the weight of absence lifting slightly. I'm not sure. Something more uplifting. I laughed, a fleeting spark of joy in the shadows. It's incredible how everything shifts when you remove the source of the darkness. His lips curled in a sly grin. Man, you're shining, and I'm all in. What's next? Living the bachelor dream. I couldn't believe it. No way. This won't become a party house. I need some time to concentrate on myself, you understand? Return to my joy. Work transformed into a realm where I truly began to flourish. Free from the chaos of a tumultuous relationship, I plunged into my projects, rediscovering joy in every moment. My focus intensified, productivity soared, and accolades followed. One day, my boss pulled me aside, eyes intense, and said, "Whatever you're doing, don't stop. It's finally happening." It's striking how shedding the burdens from your life can set everything else right. The true change, however, was within the mind. My mind cleared, free from Sophia's chaos. I felt a rare clarity, free from the turmoil of doubt about her desires. I felt free, unburdened by the fear of triggering her wrath. There were still moments when she invaded my thoughts. She lingered in my thoughts. But as the weeks passed, those moments grew rare and distant. When she crossed my mind, it stirred no anger, no sadness, only a deep, hollow indifference. Her indifference hardened as mutual friends casually mentioned her in conversation. A friend spotted her at a party, and all I could muster was, "Good for her." I didn't seek the specifics, nor did I want to know who she was with or what she was up to. Nothing mattered anymore. A month after our last meeting, I was transformed, not by change, but by rediscovery. I was finally me again, the version unafraid to stand tall, unyielding to another's comfort. Discovering my own strength was the most powerful moment of this journey. When Sophia left, I could have shattered, spiraled into despair, or fought to reclaim her, but I chose a different path. I stood firm, pressed on, and forged a new life from the ashes. It wasn't about others. It was a battle within. I emerged victorious. Letting go can be the most powerful choice. Release the toxic, the stagnant, the chains of your own mind. Embrace freedom. Letting go is pure freedom. Leaving Sophia behind, along with all she stood for, was a sacrifice I embraced fully. Now, standing taller than ever, I know with unwavering certainty I made the right choice. 6 weeks had passed since Sophia and I last connected. I didn't scroll through her posts, didn't ponder her life, and certainly didn't long for her presence. That chapter was done. A text from a stranger. "Hey, this is Caleb. Can we talk?" "It's about Sophia." I nearly stayed silent. Caleb. Who was Caleb anyway? The thought of Sophia pulling me back into her chaos made me shudder. Yet I couldn't resist the pull of curiosity. I replied with a terse, "What do you want?" His reply was swift, a sense of urgency in his words. "We need to meet in person." His intentions were a mystery, yet the message sent a chill down my spine. If it had been Sophia, I would have turned away. But this was something else entirely. I reluctantly said yes to meeting him at a cafe in Boulder the following day. I braced myself for half an hour of my life gone, but it felt heavier than that. Ideally, I'd uncover the reason behind his urgent need to reach out to me. The following afternoon, I entered the cafe and saw him instantly. He sat alone at a corner table, nervously toying with his cup. In his early 30s, now 34, clean cut, the kind of guy who likely lives on LinkedIn. I took my seat opposite him, silence heavy between us. "Are you Caleb?" I pleaded. He nodded, his anxiety palpable, more than I had anticipated. "Thanks for meeting me," he said, his body tense, eyes darting. I hesitated, but you needed to hear the truth. The truth lies bare. I sank into my chair, arms crossed, tension crackling in the air. "So, what's the real story?" Caleb inhaled sharply, as if bracing for a monumental revelation. He began, eyes fixed on the table. "I've been seeing Sophia." I arched an eyebrow, silence heavy between us. Not unexpected. I knew Sophia was bouncing from one guy to another since she walked away. I hadn't bothered to know them, to give them faces or names. Caleb was a name that echoed in silence. He must have sensed my silence, his words spilling out in a frantic rush. When we began our relationship, she assured me that you two were finished, truly finished. She claimed the break was merely a formality, insisting you had already emotionally disengaged. I nearly burst into laughter at that. feeling numb inside? I shook my head, repeating it again. No, that's not what happened. She requested the separation. I urged her to gather her things. The final chapter closes. Caleb's discomfort was palpable, and I couldn't help but feel a twisted sense of satisfaction. He felt the sting of betrayal creeping in. He confessed. She twisted it, making it seem like you were the uncaring one, leaving her no option but to let go. Sophia, as always, spins the tale to cast herself as the wounded soul. It was no shock, yet it proved one truth. She remained unchanged, not in the slightest. Why are you telling me this now? I leaned in, urgency in my voice. What's the purpose? Caleb exhaled sharply, fingers tangling in his hair. I began to see the discrepancies, the small details that just didn't fit. She'd bring you up casually, as if you still mattered in some way. She spun tales of your home, of moments you shared, and it felt impossible if she had truly moved on. I stayed silent, watching him bury himself deeper. As he spoke, the truth hit hard. He'd been played, just as I had. But I had seen through the facade much earlier. She deceived us both, he pressed on. She painted you as the villain, but now the truth is clear. She danced on the edge, balancing between two worlds. As our world crumbled, her words turned to you, a haunting echo of what once was. It stood before me, his true motive for the meeting. Caleb had no intention of easing his guilt. He was here, scarred, and unwilling to face the abyss alone. Let me clarify, I said, my voice steady yet resolute. She said we were finished? Made you believe I was indifferent? Then attempted to pull me back in when things fell apart with you. He nodded, a flicker of shame crossing his face. Exactly. I sank into my chair, a soft laugh escaping my lips. It seems you've been through a lot, my friend. But the truth is, I always knew she was this way. That's why she's gone from my life. Caleb's eyes widened, a mix of shock and anticipation, as if he braced for an explosion or a deep sense of betrayal. But why should I? Sophia revealed her true self to me, and it shattered everything. Caleb's approval was unnecessary. I was already certain. We lingered in silence, the weight of unspoken words heavy between us. Caleb's fingers danced nervously around his cup, the silence heavy with uncertainty. At last, he met my gaze and whispered, I thought you should know. I never wanted you to doubt your sanity. Insane, I echoed with a sly grin. I'm not the fool in this game. The instant she requested that break, I saw right through her. You, however, I paused, allowing the gravity of his decisions to sink in. Caleb stood silent, accepting the weight of his choices. He nodded, a silent acknowledgement of his mistake in getting tangled with her from the start. As we rose to depart, Caleb paused, his hand reaching out, uncertain yet hopeful. I thought about letting it go, but ultimately chose to confront it. There's no sense in resenting someone who suffered under Sophia's manipulations, just like I did. Good luck, he whispered, a weight in his tone. I wish for you to discover someone truly worthy of your heart. I echoed his sentiment, though doubt lingered about his understanding. As I drove home, a laugh escaped me, the chaos of it all swirling in my mind. Sophia believed she could play us both, but in the end, she lost everything. It was tragic, truly. She had become her own downfall. After my brief encounter with Caleb, I was finished. Finished with Sophia. Finished with her chaos. Finished with anything that even slightly connected to her. I believed the door was shut when I left the park, but encountering Caleb sealed it for good. The revelation that she had been playing us both all along. That was the final straw, sealing my resolve to be done with her chaos forever. Sophia refused to let the silence linger. A few days passed, and then her message lit up my screen once more. Can we talk? Please. I've been reflecting deeply, and I truly want us to find a way through this. I just couldn't bring myself to respond. What could possibly be said? She wouldn't return, not when her plans unraveled before her eyes. Only silence could answer her now. Even in silence, her determination burned fiercely. In the days that followed, her messages poured in. Apologies dripped with self-pity and regret, a desperate wish to rewind time, to erase the mistakes. They tried to manipulate my feelings, but all I seek is closure. Don't I deserve that? No, she didn't deserve it. Closure was not my obligation. Then the calls arrived. Her name flashed on my screen, and each time I pressed decline, no hesitation at all. Her desperation was almost comical, yet it cut deep. She had scorched every connection, and now she was desperately trying to mend them with hollow promises. I couldn't believe it. That night, she appeared at my door. Engrossed in my woodworking project, the sudden knock at the door shattered my focus. I expected Ethan, but when I opened the door, Sophia stood there instead. I sighed. She appeared changed, not in a self-improvement sense, but in a way that screamed struggle. Her hair tangled, eyes swollen, and that desperate expression. Maybe it would sway another, but not me. What do you desire, Sophia? I inquired, my back pressed against the doorframe. She paused, searching for the right words, but all that escaped her lips was, I miss you. I nearly burst into laughter. Did you think of me? The man she believed she could keep waiting while she explored her fleeting desires? No way. I don't know what you want me to say, I told her, my voice trembling. Your decision was clear, and so was mine. I made a mistake, she whispered, her voice shaking. I believed I craved change, yet I realized I didn't. With you, I had it all, yet I was too lost to recognize it. I folded my arms, locking my gaze onto her, unyielding. You believe a few sweet words can erase your past? Think again. Sophia, that's not how it goes. Tears cascaded down her cheeks as she desperately pleaded her case. I was lost, adrift in uncertainty. Lost in a whirlwind of thoughts, I spiraled deeper into confusion. Daniel, I'm so sorry. I truly am. Can we hit reset? Her tears left me cold. I saw through their games with Caleb and the others. I wouldn't be their fool. There was no chance to begin anew. I have no interest, I declared with conviction. You craved distance, and now it's yours. You sought new paths, and you found them. Now you face the fallout of your choices. Not my concern. She froze, breath caught, then launched a final desperate attempt. Doesn't everything we created together matter to you at all? It did, I said, my voice steady yet charged. I just can't bring myself to hate you. I've let go of the anger. I won't allow you back in, not after you finally see your error. Sophia, it's time to let go. I have. Her face twisted in pain, and for a heartbeat, I braced for another fight. But she simply nodded, tears soaking the sleeve of her hoodie. I'm sorry, she whispered, her voice trembling, for it all. I stayed silent. What could possibly be said? I shut the door behind her, refusing to look back as she disappeared into the distance. Relief washed over me, drowning out sadness, anger, and regret. She was gone forever, and that was precisely where she belonged. After that night, she vanished, leaving silence in her wake. Perhaps she finally understood, or perhaps shame silenced her efforts. I was indifferent, no matter the outcome. Life was brighter without her, and I refused to let her return. I began mapping out a long-desired journey, a dream long put on hold. Life surged with vitality, not due to others, but because I was crafting it my way. Only serenity, no chaos, no pretense. People like Sophia remain unchanged. Words may flow, tears may fall, but in the end, it's the actions that resonate the most. Her actions revealed all I had to understand. She never appreciated what we shared. She believed she could leave, explore the unknown, and return when it was convenient. Yet, that's not the way life unfolds. Not with me, not ever. I cherish our moments, yet feel no longing for them now. That chapter of my life is sealed, locked tight, and the key is lost forever. If she's wise, she'll take this lesson to heart and rise stronger with the next one. But what about me? I've left it all behind. Sophia's downfall reached my ears through Evelyn, the ever-watchful neighbor who seemed to know everyone's secrets. Daniel, have you heard the news about Sophia? I hadn't naturally, as I wasn't making an effort to watch her closely. What will become of her? I inquired, my words laced with mere courtesy, not true curiosity. Evelyn whispered, as if revealing the world's most dangerous truths. She lost her job, messed up a crucial project, and clashed with her boss. I nodded, silence heavy between us. I refused to revel in her downfall, not in words at least. In the weeks that followed, tales of Sophia emerged, each more harrowing than the one before. It began with the job. I learned from a mutual friend that her circumstances were unraveling too. She had been living with her sister since our breakup, and the atmosphere had grown charged. Sophia's sister had finally reached her limit, demanding she find her own place. The tension hung heavy in the air. Sophia faced a stark reality. Choices were scarce. She had scorched her connections, and those she once relied on had turned their backs, unwilling to offer support any longer. She found herself in a rundown apartment in East Nashville, a stark contrast to the comfortable life she once knew. Inside, a spark of vindication ignited within me. She rushed to escape the safety I provided, only to drown in her own choices. Thanks for watching this story on Addy Story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a new tale. Stay tuned for more, and until next time, take care and keep living your own amazing stories.